Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the newest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like an Eddie Bravo. Today, like most days, I have a wonderful panel of contributors here to help talk some MMA shit with me. So we'll go around real quick before we dive too deep into it. First off, the young gunner, the up-and-comer, the stunner, RJ. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Ready to talk shit. Getting this fucking really good fucking card.
Hell yeah. It's nice to have a decent card to break down for a change. We haven't had a full, nice card like that in a while. So across the octagon, as it were, from him on the other side of the panel here, my Wednesday night homeboy, my vaping brother, Golf T. How you doing, buddy?
Fucking ready to go. RJ said it. This fantastic card. Although UFC is still boggling me with the way they're setting their cards up and the order in which the fights are playing out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know we're going to get into that here in just a little bit, too.
Y'all do a fantastic job of putting together a great card that isn't even a pay-per-view. It could be all pay-per-view fights that we have here. But the order, you guys, come on. Unfuck yourselves. But let's get into this and talk some shit.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as it does when we kick the show off here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little time to break down some news and recent events that have come about over the last period of time since we shot our last episode here. So the first thing I want to talk about real quick here, just an interesting little story. I'm not really sure if it's being made as much of a headline as I feel that it needs to be because of the way that it unfolded. And what I'm referring to here is Pedro Munoz. After his win at UFC 235, hopped the fence, celebrated, came back in, did his whole thing. It has come out this week that they have officially fined him $2,500 for hopping the fence. So I'm not sure if they're trying to set a precedent here and just keep dudes from going over the railing because of the whole Khabib bullshit, or if this is one of those things where it's just a local commission that wasn't happy about it and wanted to fine the guy, because if I remember right, he wasn't the only guy that went over the railing that night. But he's the only one that's being noted for getting a $2,500 fucking fine for jumping the fence. So that's a little bit weird, but it's definitely something that I want to mention because people need to keep an eye on this and see how this pans out and see where this goes forward, I think.
Well, I do have an input on this. $25, that's kind of just a slap on the wrist in this case. I mean,
$2,500, yeah.
It's not like it's a huge one, but is it really going to stop anybody, especially if you're getting into something as big as a main event where the main event guy does it? You're going to fine him $25,000 or half of his purse?
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm wondering if they're trying to do here, if they're trying to use him to set the precedent, because they never specifically said that Khabib was fined because of his fence jumping. They just said it was because of the whole incident that he got fined the fucking $500,000 or whatever.
Don't get me wrong. I'm perfectly all right with them keeping them inside the fence. You stay there until it's time for you to leave. Then you go out through the doors, not over the top.
Yep.
I'm perfectly fine with that, but the fine thing, not necessary. If you want to really hurt them, fucking give them a 6-month suspension or something. That'll set a precedent if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% mad about that because technically it's against UFC policy to even jump on the cage after a fight.
Well, and that's part of the thing that I think this might be doing. I think this might be one of the first like baby slap on the wrists, so that way as it starts to continue to happen, because it always fucking does after a big win and a dude's jacked full of adrenaline, 8 out of 10 fucking times he jumps up and it either sits on the fucking rail and does one of these, or he goes over and fucking chants to the crowd and points to his family and his coaches and shit, or talks to Joe Rogan. So I'm wondering if this might be the start of how they're going to try and discourage fighters from doing that, is that you go over the fence, you're starting with a fine, next one's going to be bigger, third one could be a suspension, fourth one, you got a fucking problem now. Like, I think this might be the stepping stone they're starting to put in place to try and help corral these guys and keep them in the fucking octagon a little more. Because, like DJ said, $2,500 ain't shit as far as a fine goes. But if that $2,500 is really more of your official warning that it's going to get shittier from here, that I understand and I'm completely okay with. Keep the motherfuckers in there. let's all be reasonable here. There's still some sort of organization that has to be done, even though it's fighting in a fucking cage. So from there, we will move along. There was a huge announcement this week about a tainted supplement fiasco, I guess would be the best word for it. There was, I believe, 7 fighters in total who were all caught up in this. Ostamine, I believe, is the chemical that they were all found being tested positive, all out of competition samples. All had been using the same supplement from a company who ostamine is completely illegal for human use internationally. So this was something that someone intentionally put into a batch of supplements for whatever fucking reason. But all of the fighters have basically come to an agreement with USADA. They were confirmed that this was not intentional on any of their parts. They all basically got retroactive suspensions. They're all coming back up. And the first one of those to come out of this USADA group tainted supplement suspension and get a notable fight, well, not just a fight, but get a notable fight here, is going to be Sugar Sean O'Malley, who has just been announced to be fighting Chito Vera for UFC's International Fight Week on July 6th. Holy shit, boys and girls. That one's going to have some fucking fireworks on it, because the hype train of Sugar Sean is about to get tested against the fucking rock that is Chito Vera, because that motherfucker's got a toolbox, and we will see exactly what Sugar Sean is made of when he gets in the cage against Chito, I believe.
I'm not gonna lie, I hope he's healed up well, because you know what? After that, after being able to finish a fight and win all fucked up like that, my hat's off to him. Yep. I'm not riding the train yet. Yeah, I'm standing at the passenger boarding deck to see if it is worth the wait.
Yep, same. I'm not going to be
the first fight. I think this fight may be it. Don't get me wrong. He definitely edged me closer to the edge of that platform on that last one, fighting through the injury. But
right,
we'll see.
Yeah, no, Chito Vera is a fucking warrior, and that dude has got a skill set like no fucking other. So I think this is definitely going to be the best test we have seen O'Malley get put up against since his fucking introduction here. And I agree completely. If he can get around Chito Vera and he can do it handily and like definitively, I might buy the fucking ticket and get on the train. But as of right now, I'm just eyeballing it from afar. I'm not willing to step off that platform just quite yet. But this could be that momentum shift that gets a lot of people like us on board the fucking train. So we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on that one. That's going to have some interesting outcome either way it goes, really. So moving along from there, I do want to take a moment here to talk about a little bit of a darker tone that happened during this week. All respect and thoughts go to the family here. We are talking about Rodrigo de Lima, who was killed in Brazil after a fight with a fucking Uber driver. It's been confirmed they're looking for the driver now. The guy is on the run. Apparently they got in a fight while they were driving, de Lima and a couple of his teammates, and they basically got into an argument with the driver. De Lima said, just pull the car over, we'll get out and walk from here. The driver took off, came back, and ran him over from behind and killed him, leaving his wife and 2 children at home. So thoughts and you know, all good vibes to the family here and respect to the family. Hopefully that piece of shit fucking Uber driver gets caught and gets his ass thrown into fucking prison so he can get a lifetime of repercussion for the bullshit that he just fucking did. So to keep with the not necessarily as dark, but definitely the darker side of the MMA world news here, I also want to move along and talk real quick about Darren Till having a bit of a heyday, I guess you could say, out in Spain. He and some of his teammates were arrested in Spain this week and fined, I believe it was $7,800 all said and done as of right now, plus whatever they finished pushing charges through for. They originally arrested him for stealing a taxi and trashing his hotel room. So, I mean, there's that. So they're definitely going to get him for some kind of thing over there. But moreover than that, I'm curious to see how Dana's going to react to that, with all the fighters' behavior outside of the cage starting to impact their ability to be in the cage now. This is definitely one of those things that somebody has to step up and say, kid, calm the fuck down. What are you doing?
You know, I want to know, how the fuck did you steal a taxi? Did you beat the driver out of the seat to take it? Or was the driver getting your bags out of the back seat and you decided to take it for a joyride?
Right. And there still hasn't been a
Sure,
lot.
taxi driver, what the fuck are you doing letting somebody steal your cab?
Yeah, there still haven't been a lot of details released about the actual taxi incident, and everywhere that I've seen it quoted, the charge itself is used with quotations, stealing a taxi. So
I'm wondering maybe if it was he didn't pay for services.
that's what I'm wondering, if he maybe just didn't pay for a cab or something like that. They dipped out at the end of the cab fare or something. There's some fuckery afoot here, but still.
Dude, you got too big of a face.
The spotlight was just on you, man. Everybody knows who the fuck you are, and it's not like word of this isn't going to get out. Fucking kids these days, I tell you. So, from there, we're going to move along back over to the lighter side of the MMA world news here. Dana White came out day before yesterday and said that they have not changed plans despite possibly considering it earlier in the year. They have confirmed they are on track. As soon as the summer lineup of UFC events and looking for a fight and the Tuesday Night Contender Series and all that shit is done and wrapped up, before they start into the fall quarter of the MMA world from the UFC side of things, Dana White says that the Zuffa boxing promotion will be going full steam ahead. Yeah, I'm not real sure about that. It seems like I get it and I don't at the same time, because when you already run the UFC, which is arguably the largest MMA promotion on the planet right now, and you've been on record talking about how the sport of boxing is dying and how it's corrupt and how, you know, it's not going to be around much longer because so many different MMA outlets have come out and they're so transparent and they're doing things properly. And then to announce that you're going to take a chunk of the UFC and convert it off into the Zuffa boxing promotion after all the shit you just came out and talked about boxing, that seems a little fucking weird. It's kind of money grabby. It's a little suspect to begin with. But then you get, excuse me, the next little story that I want to talk about real quick after this, and it kind of starts to maybe put pieces in place and be a little more logical, because the other thing that I was going to talk about after this is that Conor McGregor just had a non-official professional exhibition match, and he was officially called by several professionals supreme class of a boxer. So it almost seems like with the Twitter retirement of Conor from the so-called sport of mixed martial arts, and now the Zuffa full-on announcement going forward with the boxing side, Conor's now doing exhibition boxing matches when he's not doing MMA anymore. It almost seems like they're trying to take Conor from the UFC to this Zuffa boxing to try and put some star power and head it up. And there's no shortage of professional boxers or former professional boxers who would not step into the octagon with Conor on a full boxing promotion, just like Floyd Mayweather did, because you see how much money is there to be made. You see how much promotion, how much press you get as the person standing across the ring from Conor, even if it's a boxing match. There's a lot of people hanging in the wings that would love to jump into that position, I think, and there's a lot of money to be made in that position as well.
I'm going to make this statement. I love boxing for what it is. To me, yes, it's a combat sport, but it's more of an art form to me than a combat sport. Those guys are true fucking artists that manage to do that and do it well. Whether it's on the defensive side, Floyd Mayweather side of the house, whether it's with pure raw power and fantastic power punches a la fucking Mike Tyson in his heyday. Those guys have their own place. However, Zuffa needs to stay on the fucking MMA train, because guess what? That train's not going anywhere. It's fucking done left the station, and it's only growing from here. You're going into a dying combat sport. Are you trying to revive it? It doesn't make sense to have somebody like Dana going and trash talking the entire sport of boxing. Not just one fighter, but the entire sport of it, and then go, oh yeah, we're going to do boxing. No, dude. get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to watch that shit. I'm going to be the first to say it. You will not get my fucking dollars to watch a pay-per-view because Connor's fighting that. No.
Right, likewise.
Fuck off. I don't want to see Connor in a boxing ring. I didn't want to see him in the boxing ring against Floyd Mayweather. I mean, the idea of it was grand, but it would have been a lot more grand if they said, all right, we're going to do one fight in a boxing ring and one in a cage, so that way it's equal on both counts. But we know Floyd's too much of a bitch to step into a goddamn octagon and have more than just two hands thrown at him. If he had legs and the possibility of takedowns, that dude would get fucking ruined for life. I don't care to see that. I want to, when I'm watching a combat sport, I want to see combat. Don't get me wrong, pugilists are great because that's what boxing is. Two pugilists only allowed to do this. Pew, 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 pew.
Right.
There's no legs, no takedowns, no grappling. That's a huge part of the reason why I watch MMA. I love the grappling aspect. I love watching the jiu-jitsu, the transitions that they have, the stopping of takedowns, or the string of takedowns to get somebody down. Those things are interesting to me. It's not, don't get me wrong, I'm just like every other fucking male human on the planet. I love seeing somebody get sent into fucking orbit. I do. How often do you see that in boxing where somebody gets sent into orbit? That's not a very often thing compared to what it is in mixed martial arts.
Yep.
I'm just saying, I think it's a poor choice on their decision. It's definitely a money grab because they know they can get money out of that. And I think part of that reason is they know if they push Conor over there, Conor's going to be such a big fucking draw no matter what for maybe his first two fights. But if they put him up against any fucking decent boxer, that decent boxer's going to win.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from Conor. He's done fantastic things for the sport. He's a fantastic knockout artist, a fantastic counter puncher. But he belongs in MMA. Yeah.
He went longer with Mayweather than fucking Pacquiao did. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm saying but he's not a pro boxer. He's a pro MMA fighter. Yeah, he's not the greatest on his back when it comes to MMA, but in the MMA world, he does a fantastic job for the most part of staying off of his back. So, to me, it's just not worth it. It seems like it's for them a money grab. And who else are they going to throw over there? Who else has got that kind of boxing skill? Okay, you might talk the Dia or you might talk Ortega into it, but you know what? Who's a better boxer than Ortega? Fucking Max Holloway. He proved it.
Yep.
You might throw the Diaz brothers in there because they can both box.
Yep.
And they'll both pull a draw just because of who they are and how they don't give a fuck. But it just seems like a waste of space and throwing away money. I mean, if you want your stock to decline, by all means, throw it into boxing. Because when that shit dies off, you're going to be up a shit creek without paddle. Not to mention, boxing is one of the most corrupt sports out in the fucking world. If you look at the way that shit is handled, it is super fucking corrupt from the way that they do business. I mean, prime example, Don King. That motherfucker is the prime example of corrupt boxing.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know that name, go Google it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. But it just seems like a stupid waste of money. And to me, I just can't fathom why they would move away from a true combat sport to go into an art form.
Well, and more than that, anybody who watched this last weekend, Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan, boxing has become a game of fucking politics more than anything now. Khan got hit with a low blow, which they showed a million slow-mo replays. It was absolutely a low blow. He got caught to the low left side of the cup with a shot from Crawford that leaned into a hard hook. But Khan took his timeout and then couldn't continue the fight. Round 6, couldn't continue the fight because he took a glancing blow to the cup and then did 15 minutes of in-ring interviews 12 feet away from Terrence Crawford.
Why isn't your ass in the back getting medical treatment after that?
Exactly. If you can't continue the fucking fight, You can't stand in that same fucking ring and do 15 minutes of on-camera interviews talking about how you had a great fight. It just didn't end the way that you wanted it to, and you look forward to your next match. No, bitch. Get the fucking gloves back on and keep fucking fighting. The only situation where I think a stoppage on a fucking low blow should be allowed would be like the Bellator event we had, what was it, a month and a half, 2 months ago, where a gentleman took a kick, threw a cup, and ruptured his testicle. That you stop a fucking fight for. A 20-ounce puffy padded glove to the side of your cup that only impacts you so much that you can't keep fighting and you can still do interviews isn't worth stopping a goddamn fight over. So if that's the kind of shit that boxing wants to bring to the table, fuck you. You'll never get a penny from me. I'll stay and watch MMA all fucking day long over that bullshit.
Well, that's exactly right. Fucking horse shit.
Yeah, but I'm not a big boxing fan, but I enjoy a good watch of some boxing. But I mean, from a business standpoint, Dana White's trying to monopolize the combat sport industry because he's talking about doing just a full series of kickboxing, a full series of Muay Thai fighting, a full series of boxing with MMA. So really, he's trying to monopolize the combat sport industry as a whole, and I'm not mad about that. I mean, I think it's strange to talk so much bad about boxing and then say, hey, we're gonna do this.
Right.
Here's the kicker on that though. He already has on Fight Pass, and now with ESPN Plus, they have fucking kickboxing, grappling. They have small boxing events. They have all of those things already. Why the fuck are you jumping full-fledged into boxing? Because you already have everything else covered. I mean, if you want to watch a BJJ competition, UFC Fight Pass.
Yep.
You want to catch the new latest and greatest fights that are coming out even this week in the main card, ESPN Plus. They're all there. She's got it already. I just think it's a stupid move on their part. I understand the whole monopolization thing. Make more money. I get it. That's that whole fucking we want to take over. Dude, you've already taken over. That's why UFC is worth more than any other fucking MMA promotion currently. You're already on top. What are you trying to prove going into a dying sport? Except for maybe you know how to put it in the grave. I mean, if you really want to bury it, yeah, I guess. Once you take it over, you're just going to stop boxing altogether?
Well,
I'll bring it back.
I think this might be more of a pet project for Dana than anything, because Dana actually has a boxing background and then went from pro or amateur to semi-pro boxing to boxing promoter. That's where he originally got his start, was in promotion for boxing. So he knows better than anyone how fucking corrupt and how crooked and how not worthwhile it is to start investing in boxing now, especially when MMA is more popular than ever. So it almost seems like it might be more of a pet project to him than anything, really, because, yeah, there's some money to be made, but nothing compared to what the fucking UFC is already doing.
Or just shut up the competition, because he pretty much got told, like, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're doing, your background is nothing compared to what my company has done, whenever he was talking about how small boxing has become, versus in the 80s and 90s, boxing was the thing. That was the only combat sport out there, really, next to your wrestling. But that was it. So maybe it's like I know what the fuck I'm doing. I can come into anything I want, and I can own it.
Yeah, could be. We're definitely gonna have to keep our eyes out, because it's gonna get weird before it gets more normal. But moving on from that, there's one more little piece that I wanted to talk about here, because not only do we have this fucking insane Fort Lauderdale card for the UFC this weekend, we have one of the most stacked cards that Bellator has ever fucking put together as well, in Bellator 220 this Saturday night as well. We have two titles being defended over there. Rory McDonald is defending his fucking belt against John Fitch, who is on a fucking tear right now, trying to get some gold wrapped around his fucking waist. And McFarlane, the ladies champ, is also defending her belt as well. So there's 2 golds on the line, and then there are 2 other fights that I wanted to mention on this Bellator card this weekend that you're definitely going to want to tune into or absolutely catch the fucking replays of, and that is Benson Henderson versus Piccolotti, because that's going to be an interesting fucking match. And then our boy Liam fucking McGeary taking on Phil Mr. Wonderful Davis for the second time, and this fight, ladies and gentlemen, holy shit. Granted, both of those title fights are going to be interesting, but Phil Davis versus my man Liam McGeary for the rematch here is my pick for fight of the night on this Bellator card. These gentlemen are going to throw the fuck down, and Liam is on one hell of a fucking roll after putting King Mo in his fucking place last time around. That man is on a strive to get a strap put around his fucking waist very soon, I believe. So definitely keep your eyes on that Bellator card this weekend as well. But that will finish our news and recent events segment of the show. That will bring us to the meat and potatoes segment, as it were. The reason for the episode we are shooting this evening, we are talking about UFC Fight Night Fort Lauderdale. Holy shit. Sosa versus Hermansson as a headline. Now, we're not even going to touch that. We're going to start right at the very tippy top, because this card, ladies and gentlemen, is fucking stacked. This card has great, real, impactful, and exciting fights from the top of the early prelims to the fucking main event. Now, like TJ mentioned earlier here, my problem with this card is that who the fuck is picking the orders that these fights are going in? Now, on one hand, I understand that they are trying to move to this format where the early prelims get a big highlight fight at the end, and then the prelims get a big highlight fight at the end, so that everybody gets the chance to shine whether they're on the main card or not. And I'm fine with that. But at the same fucking time, when you have fights on the main card that have zero impact on any division, that have zero impact on a particular fighter's actual numbered ranking, and you have fights on the prelims and the early prelims that could arguably be your fucking main event on a pay-per-view card, I start to question the judgment of who's putting this shit together here.
Robert Skillford and Jim Miller.
The prime example I'm going to use here is not just one particular fight, but the entire early prelim card itself. Compared to the main card, compared to UFC 236, compared to every single main card we have had in 2019 to date, you could take these 3 fights alone, throw 2 filler fights like they've done in every other fucking main card, and you could have made this a pay-per-view event all to itself. Holy shit, boys and girls. They are bringing the fucking heat this weekend. So we're going to go right to the fucking start. We're going to go with the opening fucking fight of Saturday night. On the early prelims, we are talking about Court McGee versus Diego Lima. Holy shit. Are you fucking kidding me? These are 2 incredibly powerful strikers and grapplers who have a fucking resume that you cannot deny, who have been around, who are game as fuck. And they are opening the card. This is one of those, I would not be the least bit disappointed if Court McGee versus Diego Lima was a fucking main event or a co-main event for a UFC pay-per-view event. This fight is going to be exciting. There's not going to be booze. There's not going to be slouching. There's not going to be riding the bike and fucking around. These boys are coming in to get after it. They're both powerful. They're both intelligent. They're both great grapplers. They both have power in their hands. I can't call a winner in this fucking fight. The only thing I can think about this fight is it's going to be a matter of who can impose their will more and who can impose their will first, because there's no way you can say that either one of these gentlemen are a better grappler than the other, or a better striker than the other, or have a better fight IQ than the other. These boys are upper echelon fighters, in my opinion, and it's a great matchup stylistically. So I think this fight could go either way. This one, I actually think, does have the potential to go to a full decision, because these guys, in my eyes, are so evenly fucking matched.
I'm right there with you on that one, 100%. It's hard to call the winner. I'm excited to see Court McGee fight again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And dear Lima, good fucking night. This one has fireworks written all over it. Why it is the starting fight on the entire card, I have no fucking clue. This could have taken the spot of the Jim Miller fight, and I would have been semi okay with it. Nice, semi okay with it. So at a minimum, I would have rather had this on the prelims, not the early prelims. But that's neither here nor there because we don't know who the fuck in their right mind is setting up the way these fights are playing out. All I'm saying is somebody needs to get fucking fired. But no, this one's a tough one to call. Those boys are going to fucking bang. They're going to go to war. The only thing that makes this fight a little difference is there's a 3-inch height difference. That's it. They're damn near virtually the same, if I remember, when it comes to reach. I know Delima's got him in height by a couple inches, but that couple inches isn't going to make a difference. Your chin's not going to rise that far. I mean, it will if Court McGee gets a hold of you, but same goes for McGee. That beard ain't going to save you, dude. This is going to be, I think it'll end up being a war of attrition. Who can outlast the other one? I don't know that it's going to be, I don't think they'll end up going to decision. These guys are both fucking very seasoned. They both have fantastic winning records.
Hell yeah.
Which is another reason that blows my mind. Why the fuck are you this early in the fight card? But then again, it's going to be a tough call. All I can say is fireworks for fucking days. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets fight of the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, I can't put a W on anybody. Like, I would really like to see Court come off with a win, but like they both have fucking ridiculous power, but the last few years they can drop a fucking heavy hand like a motherfucker, but they can't put anybody away. Both of them haven't. They've over the last few years, both of them have just come down to a fuckload of decision wins, a fuckload of decision losses. The only thing that's really there is if Court can play a little distance because he has like a 1.5 inch reach advantage. I mean, he can do some damage, but other than that, it's pretty much even across the board. I would really like to see Court come away with a W on this. That'd be quite fucking enjoyable. But yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at either one, really.
No.
This is absolutely one of those fights that no matter how this one comes down, I won't be mad at whoever wins because these boys are both fucking great fighters and they're both going to come to fucking bring it. So
yeah, I mean, this could, I would like to see this further up, like taking one of the 2 spots because there's 2 debut fights on later on in the card. This could have been put up further into the prelims or early in the main card. But I mean, hey, I need to get it together with making cards.
You know what I think blows my mind about this fight being so early? These aren't even on ESPN Plus. These ones are on ESPN2 this week. So it's not like they're trying to get more people to subscribe to ESPN Plus because this week doesn't fucking matter for that.
Yeah.
I get it when you're trying to get people to subscribe to ESPN Plus, up your numbers, increase your sales. Yeah. Then, yeah, I can see a little leeway. But for this fight to be here, doesn't make any sense. Not when it's free on ESPN2, and then the prelims are on ESPN. The only ones that you have to pay for if you don't have it is going to be the main card because those are on ESPN Plus.
Right. Well, and I think part of that as well, not defending it at all because I still think it's absolute bullshit, but I think part of their reason, the more that I think about it, might be because it has been openly reported by Dana and several other celebrities that the ESPN Plus pay-per-view was an absolute shit show. It fucking dropped signal. It wouldn't let people log in. It was double charging people. It was taking money and not granting access. It dropped signal repeatedly. I talked to several people myself who ordered it through ESPN Plus and had a fucking nightmare of a time trying to get it. Brandon Schaub said that he ordered it and had a fucking nightmare of a time. Several other big people, even Dana, said that there were some issues that they're going to work on. And I think that might be one of those things that they decided they're just going to put this on ESPN2 and try and save that ESPN server and have the guys do a full fucking, autopsy of that shit and see what the fuck happened here. I think it was a bad preemptive move to jump everything to ESPN Plus and pay-per-view through them as well. And I think
you're exactly right. I think, because I was talking to my dad this week because he was going to order the last pay-per-view through the cable company, not because of ESPN Plus. That number that they were paying for before, which was $60 or something like that.
Yep.
I remember what that is when I paid for the last one. I think it was 60 or 65 or something like that. Jump to 80 some fucking dollars if you don't have ESPN Plus. 80 fucking some dollars to order it through your cable provider. Bullshit. And I'm wondering how many of those people that did it through the cable provider ended up with shitty quality because it was still going through ESPN Plus's servers.
Yep.
Because I'm sure these cable companies,
that was part of it.
And I'm guessing these cable companies don't have their own dedicated ESPN Plus servers like they should, because there are still major outlets for them. But that was definitely a shit show. Definitely not something to be happy with. I don't think they realized the pure amount of people that were actually going to request use on those servers and why they fell apart so bad.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think ESPN Plus was a bad move. I think going ESPN Plus and pay-per-view through them was a fucking stupid move on the UFC's part. And I think this is a little bit of it coming back to bite them in the ass when they're starting to see how much fucking problem it's going to be. And I'm curious to see how they're going to fix that going forward, because that's got to get fixed. That can't fucking happen again. Not for a fucking numbered pay-per-view event. It's unacceptable. For the level of fucking professionalism that it's been presented to us before now, you can't go backwards.
It makes me wonder, if it continues to happen, how long will it be before they just pull the contract on that and say, all right, we're going to go back to normal pay-per-views. We'll still use you for the main card stuff.
Yep.
But then go back to just a normal pay-per-view where people aren't having the issues.
Yep, I agree. And I think that if it keeps fucking up the way that it is, that I think is absolutely what's going to happen. They're going to pull that fucking ESPN contract, and so you guys can have the main cards for the fight nights on fucking ESPN Plus, but pay-per-view goes back to fucking pay-per-view.
Well, and the other kicker on that is you got to wonder, how much did they have to kick back out in refunds because of the poor shit that was going on there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. How much did they lose on the pay-per-view side of things because it fucked up and people wanted a fucking refund because they couldn't see it? They said the pay-per-view numbers weren't spectacular on this last one like they had been the previous few, and I think part of that reflects that. And then the refunds that are going to end up getting fucking kicked out because of that are going to be another nail in that coffin. ESPN Plus is definitely in over its head at this point. So that shit aside, we'll move on to the next fight on the early prelims here, and we are talking about Angela Hill versus Jody Escobar. Now, the first thing that I thought when I saw this fight announced was, oh no, poor Jody. Jody has had, I believe this would have been her 5th fight in a row where the fucking opponent pulled out on her within a week of the fight. The last one was the day before the fight, and then the fight before that, I believe, was 2 days before the fight. She has got a horrible record going right now of getting a full camp in, getting fully ready, and then just before the fucking dance, her partner taps out and they can't find somebody in short notice. So I know Angela Hill has had some rough goings lately, so she definitely needs a good fight to go her way, but I can't help but feel like Jody is just chomping at the fucking bit here. 4 full camps in a row and never getting to let that fucking beast loose. Now she's back up. She's on a fucking stacked early prelim card against a decent opponent in Angela Hill, but I think Jody Escobar is coming out here, and I think she is going to let the fire of 4 fucking full training camps loose, and I think Angela Hill is in for a fucking problem that she is not going to be able to handle here. I think Jody takes this, and I think Jody is going to put the work to Angela Hill on Saturday night.
I just want to know if you were cheating off my test paper there, because I was thinking the exact same thing, because you have that many fucking fights pull out in front of you. Look, fight camps, yeah, you're in that mindset the whole time. But you get to that, look, let me put it like this. This is kind of like fucking. You can go and go and go, but unless you ever reach climax, you're going to be just fucking pissed off. She's got to be fucking furious right now.
Yeah, man.
4 times. She's getting fucked without the courtesy of a reach round and never climaxing. Guess what? It's fucking time. That bitch is coming. And guess what? I hate to say it, Angela. All you're going to do this time is you're just going to get fucked. I hate to say it, but she's going to be the dick here, and you're going to be the asshole. And she's going to be fucking you all over the ring, and you are not going to like it. Jody, fucking, I have a feeling she's going to end up taking this by fucking TKO.
Jesus, that fucking analogy, man. Yeah, fucking, yeah. Just fucking, yeah. Hillary's gonna get fucked, regardless, because Jody has gone through 4 fucking fight camps, hasn't been able to compete, and she's gonna show fucking the UFC and all the bullshit what she can do and why she needs to be put up to a higher level inside her fucking class and fighting people that aren't going to pull out over some dumb bullshit, and why she fucking deserves her shot at going up in their fucking rankings. Fucking Jody, I'm going to call a fucking first round KO TKO. I'd love to fucking see that all day.
Yeah, no, at this point, I don't think that I would be surprised by that in one little bit. I think Jody has got so much fucking fire built up in her right now that she's just going to steamroll right through Angela Hill and tell Dana, you better put a high fucking number next to my name tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Angela, good word of advice for you here. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, but for this fight, you might want to take some lube with you.
Yo.
And bring condoms in your gloves, hon. Just stuff them in the wraps.
And you're going to need all the safety you can get.
Hell yes. So from there, that moves us along to, like I said, on one hand, I understand them wanting to put an exciting fight at the end of the earlies, an exciting fight at the end of the prelims, and then, the main and the co-main. I get that. I get that they want to give more people a chance to shine, but I just feel like this, of all the fights on the fucking earlies, this could be co-main event, and I think should be the co-main event, because fuck Greg Hardy, but we'll get to that piece of shit in a fucking minute. But what we're talking about is my man Jim fucking Miller coming in against Jason Gonzalez. And now I follow Jim Miller on several social media platforms, and that man is fucking grinding. Lyme disease might have hurt him for a minute, but that dude is back, and he is big, and he is fucking motivated. And I think he is coming in this weekend to try and put Jason Miller in the rear view and look back towards the top of the fucking stack. Now, Jason Gonzalez, rather. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not going to completely discount Jason Gonzalez, because this is another one of those situations where you don't get to be in the fucking UFC if you're just a scrub. There's plenty of cannon fodder already on the fucking roster. So if you're here, you got some fucking talent. But at the same time, Jim Miller is one of those OG motherfuckers who is as bad can fucking be. He's back on his game. He's back on his fucking grind, and he's coming to put some fucking hurting down for Jason Gonzalez. I think Jim Miller takes this one in the second.
Did somebody say cannon fodder? Were you talking about Greg Hardy again? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just thought I heard that. Funny. Just wanted to make sure I was clarifying things here. Oh, I think you're on fucking point. Jim Miller looks fantastic. His last outing looked fantastic as well. This is that one fight where I'm going, why is this not on the main card? Why are you not forcing people to buy ESPN Plus to watch this fight? Doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. He said, nothing to take anything away from Jason Gonzalez. You obviously made it to the big show, but I don't think you're ready for this kind of big show. I think purely on the fact that Jim Miller is a fucking gamer. Every fucking time he steps in, it doesn't matter how big of an underdog he is, if he's favored. It doesn't matter the fucking odds. He's going to go in. He's going to try to brutalize you. And if he's going to lose, he's going to go out on his shield knowing that he at least brutalized you in some way. You're going to know you're in a fight. Unfortunately, Pro Gonzalez here, tonight is not your, or Saturday is not your night. I'm sorry to tell you. I wish you, again, the best moving forward in your future endeavors, but Jim Miller seems really fucking hungry again, like the Jim Miller of old, which is fantastic to see. Because you know what? That bout with Lyme disease he had really did take a lot out of him, which is why you saw him fall off the fight game for a while. And when he did come back, he didn't look quite as hot. Now he's back on that Jim Miller of old look, where I'm going, we're looking at wars coming, just fucking bloody beat down. Somebody's going to go to fucking sleep, and it's not going to be Jim on this fight. It's not going to be Jim. Sorry to say it. I don't even think this one makes it into the second round. I have a feeling Jim's going to go in there and just fucking lay some work down, and I think he's going to end up finishing via KO, not even TKO. Like, ref's going to stop the fight before the guy takes too much punishment just because he'll already be out.
I can see that.
Yeah, fucking, I mean, Jason Gonzalez, fucking hats off to you for fucking agreeing to take a fight like this, or just getting like, oh yeah, dude, let's just fucking go. Dude, talking about fucking Jim Miller. Dude, you're talking about the dude that's fucking fought, I don't know how many fucking UFC champs of the weight class and high-ranking opponents, and to battle something like fucking Lyme disease and come back in the fucking cage to keep battling, get the fuck out of here. You have no, you have a puncher's chance, because that's every fucking fight. You have a puncher's chance in hell of fucking winning this. But fucking good luck to you and fucking Saturday and your future fights. But man, Jim Miller, fucking all day, KO. I'm in an unanimous agreement of why this isn't up on the main card as a co-main, because that fight's not that impressive. Why are you so far so early? That's kind of aggravating. That's actually a disappointment. That could be a hell of a fight.
I agree. I think that's going to be a hell of a fight. And as I say, I get that they're trying to put fireworks at the end of every fucking card segment, but pull one of those fucking shit fights from the fucking main card and put it up here. Put these boys on the main card and give them some goddamn money. He fucking deserves it.
You know what fucking makes me angriest about that? Yeah, they want fireworks, but obviously they don't want the grand finale, because that's what happens when you put Jim Miller up there. Guaranteed. This is another one of the fights on the card that I say has the possibility of being fight of the night, or at least knockout of the night in Jim Miller's favor, because of the way he fights.
Absolutely.
I mean, like you got like one or two fucking fighters on later on in the card as a debut fight, or somebody that's only had like 2 fights and one got fucking canceled. Come on, that's fucking horseshit.
I agree completely. And a prime fucking example here, moving right along to the prelim card, a prime example of something that could have been switched for any of those fucking early prelim card fights. Andrei Arlovski versus Augusto Sakai. This is one of those situations where Arlovski's fucking opponent doesn't even have a profile picture on the UFC website. I checked before we went live. Right now, no fucking profile picture. They are literally throwing a fucking falling out of contestable shape Arlovski another fucking soup can. How many times are we going to have to watch a dude who was a legit bad motherfucker in his prime, and I think he's 1-9 in his last 10, or 2-8 in his last 10. He's getting fucking ragdolled. The legacy that Andrei Arlovski had built for himself is being fucking demolished by watching him getting his ass handed to him by guys he shouldn't even be standing in a fucking octagon against. And it's disheartening as a fucking fan to not only see this guy not know when to retire, but to see somebody like Dana White, who was so fucking adamant that he literally begged Chuck Liddell to stop fighting and gave him a UFC roster job to get him out, and he's going to let somebody like fucking Arlovski walk himself into Muhammad Ali level fucking brain damage because the dude is not willing to fucking hang him up. I don't think that Sakai has anything to offer Arlovsky here as far as legitimate competition. But I think on the other side of that Arlovsky has realistically fallen so far off of what he used to be that I think he's just going to win this one on experience alone. I don't think there's going to be any glitz. I don't think there's going to be any glamour. I don't think he's going to look good. I think he's going to look like an old Arlovsky against a fucking nobody here. I think he's going to manage to pull the win out, but it's aggravating, and I think it's because they're giving him soup cans because he went on a whole rant this week on social media about how he's one of the only fighters that's above 40, and he's still doing this because he believes that he can still do it. That's the problem with fighters. They always believe they can still do it, even to a small degree, and if they even have just a fucking small degree in their mind that thinks that they can still fucking do it, they're going to try. Until you get someone that steps in front of them and says it's time to fucking stop. And we need to get somebody who's a fucking important enough person to stand in front of Andrei Arlovsky after this match and tell him to fucking stop. Because the fans are getting tired of seeing our fucking heroes and our legends getting manhandled because they don't have a way to fucking retire properly. There's no transition out of fighting. There's no retirement plan for fighters. There's no 401k these guys are fucking putting into. And it sucks because we have to watch shit like this where guys that got us into the sport as younger fucking people are now getting fucking ragdolled by nobodies for a fucking paycheck. And it's sad. I think he's still going to win, but I'm fucking disappointed that he's even taken this fucking fight to begin with.
You hit about every point I was thinking about making there. The biggest one that you hit that I was immediately going to talk about, where the fuck is Dana White? Oh, he's busy with throwing money at boxing. You stupid fuck. Big Daddy Dana, I'm going to call you a stupid fuck right now because you know what? You did a fantastic job of saving Chuck Liddell until he decided to be stupid and come back and fight Tito Ortiz again for no fucking reason whatsoever. I don't know if he was getting low on money or funds or whatever, which I doubt was the case because he still had plenty going on for him. But you did a fantastic job of saving that man. Why not save another legend of the sport? Your job as a promoter is to make sure that A, you have new up-and-coming stars, but B, you're saving your old stars from looking like assholes on the way out the door. Look, I get it. Arlovsky went away for a while, went over to a different promotion, did fantastically over there. That's why you guys brought him back over to give him another shot. I get that. But what he's done since he's come back to the UFC, he's become a fucking gatekeeper. And in this case, I love Andrei Arlovsky. Let me rephrase that. I love the Andrei Arlovsky of old. Right now, though, I hate to even say this, but he's cannon fodder right now. Because he has a big name, what he was known for before, you know he can still pull some numbers because people know who he is, especially those of us who have been watching for a long time, who watched him in his heyday just fucking murdering people. I hate to say this, Arlovsky's not going to win this fight. He'll go out on his shield because he's that kind of fighter. But I don't want to watch it. I'm sad to see these kind of fights. When you're well past, look, you definitely knocked it out of the park when you said every fighter, doesn't matter who you are, if you've been in a fight once, you think you can still do it. If you want to fight once, you'll think you can do it, no matter how many times you've gotten beat up, because there is that I fucking won mentality, so I can do this. Dude, I've won fucking fights before. But I know right now I can't do it. Now, if I was getting put in that situation, yeah, I'd still go do it because I've won fights before. But there's got to be somebody who's fucking smart enough to walk in front of you and go, look, man, pat you on the shoulders. You've had a fantastic career. Andre, I love you to death, dude. You're a fucking legend of the sport. You definitely deserve any Hall of Fame recognition they give to you. In fact, if they don't, I'll be more than pissed off. Please hang them up. Not only for your sake, but for the fans' sake. Those of us who have been watching you for a long time. I don't want to see you go out like that. I don't want to see you having lifelong problems because you didn't know when to set those gloves down in the middle of the octagon after either a loss or a win. Just call it a career, dude. You were fantastic. You were a great champion. I love you for that, but it's time to go, man. Your flight is boarding. That's what I'm saying, man. Don't miss your flight to fucking paradise, dude. Go enjoy retirement, not having to fucking get in there and get your ass beat. Dude, go be a trainer. You would make a fantastic fucking trainer. With your background and experience in big fights, you can walk all of those guys through fucking pressure situations. How to get through that. Do something like a lot of these fighters that are retiring doing. Start your own gym where you're training other fucking UFC fighters. Things like that. Do us a favor, dude. Just lay them down after this fight. Win, lose, or draw. I hate to say it, man, but I don't think you're going to win this fight. I think at this point, you're on your way out. I just hope you know it. I got nothing but respect for you. This fight goes to decision. Arlovsky's going to lose. I hate to say it. Sakai's got this.
So I'm gonna be the person that follow that up. I want to see Arlovsky win. I only want to see Arlovsky win so I can see him put his gloves in the middle of the ring and fucking walk away. Only reason why I want to see him win. I fucking love him as a fighter to death. I love his fucking drive. Dude, you're fucking 40 years old. You were a legend of the fucking sport out of fucking the fucking UFC, WEC, fucking Pride days. You were a fucking goddamn legend. You were a fucking murderer. You're 40. Dude, fucking knock this fight out of the park. You're 25 pounds lighter than your opponent. Fucking murder him. Lay your gloves down and walk away. Call it a fucking career. Fucking couple years from now, you'll be a UFC Hall of Famer. Fucking take that for what it is. Fucking just step away from it. Like TJ said, open your own gym. Fucking yeah.
You know,
I just want to see him win, so he lays him down. That's it.
that makes me think of one other thing. Because I do love the foreign fighters, a lot of them. He could go the Boss Rutan route. Go do commentary. Because you know what? That fucking accent goes a long ways when you know what you're talking about. Not to mention, Arlovsky was coming up right at the same time as Boss Rutan was starting to fucking go and start to hit the talking about fights and finishing his career doing pancreas and all of that. Just saying, that's another option out there for you, buddy. Just hang them up, man. No, that's all.
Yep, I agree. So another fight that I don't understand. Ben Saunders versus Takashi Sato. This is going to be a fucking spectacular match. This is going to be a very, very technical match. This isn't going to be a come out guns blazing, stand in the center of the fucking octagon and bang till somebody falls asleep kind of match. This is going to be a perfect demonstration of physical chess with dire consequences. This is going to be a fucking match for the technical guys to keep your eye on, because I think this is going to be a submission war. This is two dudes who are going to go after the sneaky moves. These aren't two guys that are going to try and go out there and power shot, although both of them are 100% capable of it. These are two dudes who are going to go out there and they're going to try and out technique each other. And I think it's going to be a great fucking display, but I think in the end, that 10th planet BJJ is going to come out on top. I think Ben Saunders takes this one, but I don't think it happens early. I think this one happens either late the second, early the third, because I think it's going to take a little bit of a feeling out process before we start getting the real heavy action here. But I think Saunders takes it either late second, early third by submission.
You're right on my wavelength there. However, I don't know how much of a feel-out process this is going to be, namely because we know Ben Saunders fucking loves the jiu-jitsu, and he's fabulous at it.
Hell yeah.
One of the only fighters to ever pull off a fucking omoplata and actually beat somebody with it. That's one of the rarer submissions, because it's fucking hard to pull off on somebody. Because unless you get that seatbelt across their waist before they roll over, chances are they're getting out of it. He's one of the few that had pulled it off. Not to mention the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Between them and Gracie, I never know who to root for when it comes to Jiu-Jitsu, because those two fucking teams are just amazing. And Ben Saunders, he's like one of these star pupils, in my opinion, of 10th Planet, because the shit that he pulls off is fucking amazing. Not to mention his flexibility is beyond fucking crazy. But then again, here's where I have the issue with him possibly not winning this fight. He's had a glass chin as of lately. One good catch, and he's fucking going to sleep. Look at his last fight. One pink. Right on the chin. Lights the fuck out.
Yeah, but to be fair, that was a clean fucking shot that put him out too, though.
You're right, it was clean, but I know a lot of fighters that can take a clean shot and still go, we're good. There's a lot of fighters that do it. But, I mean, then again, they might have just got the button. But it seems lately, though, all of his losses have become because he's gotten knocked out. But you're right. I see this more going into a chess-style match where it's going to be jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. And to be honest, Sato, I do not think has the pedigree that Saunders does when it comes to the jiu-jitsu. No offense, but you got to go with the training on this one. 10th Planet all the fucking way on this. In fact, I would venture to guess it'll be either one of two submissions that he finishes him with. It's either going to be a triangle or a armbar, one of the two. And I'm talking straight armbar. I'm not talking an Americana or Kimura. I'm talking straight armbar. I think that's what he wins the fight with. And I don't think it'll go late into the second because they'll be too fucking sweaty and greased up, easy to pull out. I think it'll be late first, early second.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the group on this. I mean, regardless of what camp fucking Ben Saunders is a part of, no matter if it's 10th Planet, if it's a Gracie, if it's fucking Joe down the block, fucking with the time and experience and the fucking competitions he's been in for fucking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like if I'm not wrong, he's a U.S. champion Jiu-Jitsu artist. I mean, just with that level, like he's fucking got this on the ground, fucking 9 times out of 10. And going off of what DJ just said, if he gets this kid in an armbar, there's no way that this kid is gonna try and fucking well, people do the hit the hands or hit wrists or elbows. Dude, this motherfucker has a 4.5-inch reach advantage. Good fucking luck getting to his hands. Your arms are fucking this long. His arms are fucking this long. Good fucking luck. Ben Saunders, all day. Submission because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is fucking just submission or ridiculous ass knockouts. Ben Saunders, all day.
I agree, and I can't wait to see that fight. It's exciting to me because of the technical aspect of it. I'm just as much of a fucking caveman as anybody else. I love to see two dudes get in the center of the ring and fucking square off and just punch each other in the goddamn face. But more than anything, I love to see guys like this that get in there and they're so fucking technical that to the average casual, it sometimes looks boring because you can't tell the shit that they're setting up or the shit that they're moving past. The level of chess that guys like this are going to play is just truly fucking exciting to me. But moving along to there, that brings us to the meat and potatoes of our episode this evening here. That brings us to the main card. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's some goddamn filler on this main card, and it doesn't need to fucking be there, so I'm not going to talk about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump directly into the first fight I am going to talk about here. We're going to talk about John Hands of Stone Lineker versus Corey Sandhagen. Holy shit. Now, this match has some fucking potential because Sandhagen is so fucking quick. And Lineker hasn't really had the best of luck lately, but at the same time, he's trying to make a fucking comeback. And if you've watched any of John Lineker's fights, you can never count that man out because he has fucking dynamite in his gloves at any point in the fucking fight, from the first fucking opening bell till the second before the closing fucking bell. So this one I feel like is going to be a little bit of, I don't want to call it a quick start, but it's going to be one of those where we go right to action. And it's going to be eventful, but it's one of those that, is Sandhagen going to be able to wrestle Lineker to the ground and neutralize that striking, or is Lineker going to be able to stuff the takedowns and keep him on his fucking feet? It's going to be interesting to play out here, and I like Sandhagen. I like his fucking style. The kid's got great fucking energy about him. He's got a good attitude. He seems to be pretty fucking smart, but at the same time, John Lineker is a little goddamn firecracker, and I think those fucking hands of stone are going to be too much for Sandhagen's chin, man. I think Lineker takes this one. I don't know when. I just feel like Lineker's striking is going to be too much for Sandhagen's grappling. So I think Lineker has it, but I can't tell where.
I think you're pretty spot on this one. The only way that Sandhagen gets out of this alive is if he can sack a takedown early in the first or midway through the first, where he can control him on the ground to nullify the fucking power. Sandhagen is fucking quick. We know that, but you know what? Lineker is called Hands of Stone for a fucking reason. He has, look, they're little guys. And I say this in the nicest way possible because I don't ever want to get punched by John Lineker. But they're little guys in the grand scheme of the weight thing. That motherfucker, though, he has one punch knockout power who could probably put out a fucking heavyweight. Without a doubt. And at 135 pounds, you don't see that very often at that weight class. Usually these are those fights where it's all action for a really long fucking time. I just don't foresee Sandhagen being able to stop the power unless there's that takedown. That's the only way Sandhagen wins this fight, in my opinion, is to stop the takedown, because he's definitely not going to out-fucking-class him with hands. That's not going to happen. Sandhagen is not to that level yet. And John Lineker, he looks like he's been pushing for a strong comeback, like another strong push to possibly getting a title shot. Unfortunately, in my opinion, this fight isn't going to do him a whole lot of good if he wins. It's not going to raise his stock any, but if he does it in a decisive fashion, whether it's knockout in the first, second, or third, but he's decisive about it, it might do a little bit for him. Other than that, no, I think this is a wasted fight for him. I really just, I don't see Corey being able to pull this one out. As much as I like an underdog story, this is not one that I would bet on. Because guess what? You are not going to sit there and absorb blows from John Lineker and think you're going to let him gas himself out and he won't have power left. He still has power when he's fucking gassed. He's not like some of these other fighters where when they gas, they lose power. Not this guy. He still has one punch knockout power at the end of the third. So, I'm definitely going John Lineker here via KO, TKO, whatever they want to fucking call it. I say it'll probably be middle of the second, early third.
Oh, man. Yeah. Fucking, I mean, Lineker was on a really good fucking tear for fucking a minute. Lately, he's had a little bit of fucking stumbles. But I mean, man, if Lineker can stuff takedown after takedown, he has no fucking problem. But Sandhagen has one of those. As I'm gonna reference the good old fucking Michael Bisping as one of those fucking tells of fucking that drop hand tell. whenever he goes in for fucking certain moves, for certain types of takedowns and stuff like that. If he can pick that, and if he's trained that enough, dude, he can get a fucking knockout really fast. Sandhagen has a very small tail when he goes in for certain shots. But man, I want to say Lineker. Earlier the second round, KO TKO.
Nice. I could definitely see that going down that way. So from that fight, that brings us to another very similar to the Arlovsky situation here, where we've got a gentleman who he's been around as long as some of the greats has. He's been in some fucking historic wars. I don't know if he's quite to legend status just yet, but he's a goddamn veteran of the fucking sport. He's a veteran of the UFC, and he's had some fucking wars, and I think this is another one of those situations where everybody needs their own fucking Joe Rogan to sit him down like he did to Brandon Schaub and explain to him how much better his fucking life will be when he's not getting punched in the face for a fucking living anymore, because he's just not on the level of the competition that he's facing, and it's going to start to detrimentally impact his life very soon. Well, granted, this is Glover Teixeira versus Ian Cutelaba, so it's not exactly that they're throwing him a soup can. They're not giving him cannon fodder. This is one of those where they're trying to let a young guy make his name off of an old name, because everybody knows Teixeira is almost always dangerous. You have to put him to sleep. He's not going to fucking tap. He's not going to stop. He's going to keep going forward till the fight is over or till you fucking finish him. But at the same time, Cutelaba is one of those young guys that he would love to make a fucking name off of a guy who's starting to lose a step like Glover Teixeira, because he's starting to fucking lose a step. And you can see that clearly if you watch his last half a dozen fights. He's not the Glover Teixeira that we saw back in his fucking prime. I love Glover Teixeira. I love his fucking style. I love his attitude. But I think he, unlike Arlovsky in this situation, has already lost enough steps that Cutelaba is going to come through, and he's just going to be too much. He's going to be too fast. He's going to have too much pressure. He's going to be too smart. I think he's the new breed of fighter, and he's just going to come in and exemplify how out of step Teixeira is in the situation against the new breed of up-and-comers here. And I hate to say something like that, because I like Teixeira, and I've been a fan of Teixeira's for years, but I think this weekend he's going to get his ass kicked. And I think he needs somebody to step in front of him after it happens and say, look, Glover, you're a fucking hero, man. You've got more than enough credit behind your fucking name. Open a gym somewhere, start helping younger fighters, and stop getting punched in the fucking face for a living. I think Glover loses, and I hope he loses and fucking retires for his sake.
All right. With all that being said, there's a lot of truth to that. He's definitely lost a step. I don't think he's lost as much as we think he's lost, though, as far as the step is concerned. A couple of his last fights, they looked very close until he got knocked out, of course. But I don't think that this is going to be a walk in the park for the young gunner here. Ian, you got some fucking heavy work on your plate if you're going to pull out a victory here. Now, Glover is definitely at the tail end of his career. I will say that. Unless he comes out and proves me wrong, which I would love to see because I love Glover. The dude is, I'll say it, he is a fucking legend of the sport. Whether people choose to believe it or not, that's their own fucking choice. But I'm going to say he is a legend when it comes to the sport. That dude, he was Hands of Stone before Hands of Stone was Hands of Stone. That dude was knocking people's fucking heads into outer space a long, long time ago. He's been through some massive wars. He's getting up there in age. This could be, for him, if he doesn't win this fight, this could be a swan song. Fucking hang him up if you lose, please. If you take the fight, though, and you win, you better make a decision. Either you really, really commit to getting better and picking up that last step, or hang them up. Either way, in my personal opinion, I would love to see you hang them up. Because I don't want to see you go down that fucking dark rabbit hole. This is another one of those cases it seems like we've been talking a lot about lately, where we're getting a lot of these legends who are going in here and fighting, when in all actuality, they don't need to. He's another one of these guys who he could train people for a living and make a fucking killing. Or at least a very fucking comfortable living. I mean, he's got enough knowledge of the game. He's been around enough. He would make a fantastic striking coach. I'm just saying, a fan-fucking-tastic striking coach. If you want to learn how to knock people out, go talk to Glover Teixeira. He'll teach you. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, and I'm going to say he takes this via KO, because he's still got the fucking bombs there. Those have not gone away. He might be a quarter step behind, but I think he'll find a way. I say Glover takes it, but it's probably going to be a late round victory if he does take it. So probably late second, middle of the third.
Yeah, my only thing, not with Glover, but with Ian. My only thing is the dude has some fucking unreal knockout power. But 90% of his fights are all won in the first round. If they're not won in the first round, almost all of them go down to a decision loss. So does he have like a stamina problem, or does he just get gassed out really fast because he's putting everything, and there's fucking haymakers that aren't landing in that first round, and he just gets fucked? If that's the case, go for it.
I think part of that answer, look at how he's fucking built. He's built like a brick house. That dude is nothing but fucking muscle. Muscle chews up a lot of oxygen. And if you're going in there fucking banging hard, that's a gassing issue because of the muscle mass that he has.
He gets, because almost all his victories are in that first round. All KO TKO victories. He doesn't have very many outside of that first round, but if they go into the third, he loses by a fucking decision, because that second, third round, he gets fucking manhandled. People take him to the ground. If that's the case in this, it's Glover all day. I mean, saying that, even if it stays in the first, I would still say fucking Glover, because he is a fucking amazing fighter. He does have some age on him, but he's a fucking amazing fighter. I love his name. I love what his name does for the industry. He's a fucking amazing fighter. I want to see Glover win this into the second round.
Very interesting possibilities here. We will definitely have to keep an eye on that one as well, because there is potential for some interesting exchanges, to say the very least, in that match as well. So that will move us along to the next fight here. Now, this fight, I honestly did not realize until a day or two ago was still going to happen, because there were rumors early on, right after this was announced, that it wasn't actually going to take place, that there were injuries involved in the camp, and it fell apart right before it started. Much to my surprise, because I hadn't been following this card very closely, the fight is still on. The injuries apparently were just rumors, supposedly, and we're going to do this. So we will, in fact, be seeing Alex Cowboy Oliveira versus Aluminum Mike Perry this weekend. And I don't want to say I'm not excited about this fight, because there is some potential for this fight, but I'm not excited as far as the matchup itself. Stylistically, it's not really that interesting to me. It's a mediocre at best aluminum Mike Perry trying to take a puncher's chance into a fucking grappling and a jiu-jitsu match against a very game and a very agile Cowboy Oliveira. Now, I'm not going to say aluminum Mike is completely fucking useless, even though I feel that he is, because like we've said, if you're in the UFC, you earned your shot there. Now, compared to the shit that he talks and the hype that he's put around himself, yeah, Mike Perry is pretty fucking disappointing. And I think he's kind of a bitch. And I've told him so on social media. We've had it out a couple times. But I'm not the greatest fan of the Brazilian Cowboy either. I respect him. I admire his style. I admire his grind because the motherfucker doesn't quit. But I'm not the greatest fan of his career either. But in this situation, I feel like Mike Perry is definitely, how is the phrase, letting his canary mouth run a check that his alligator ass won't be able to cash or something along those lines. I think Perry is stepping in too far above his fucking head here, trying to get back out of that fucking loser's zone that he's been stuck in for a while here. And he's going to try and do something big, which is why he accepted a fight with a guy like Oliveira, who's dangerous everywhere. He can stand and strike with Perry. He might not have the same chin, but he can stand and strike with Perry. He can wrestle better than Perry, and his jiu-jitsu means that Mike better watch his fucking limbs. So I think that this one actually goes to Mr. Oliveira by a Brazilian choke here late into the second here, because I think he's going to dance a little in the first, but I think the second is going to be the time where Oliveira starts to implement some game plan. I think he's going to get Perry to the ground, and I think he's going to choke him the fuck out, and I'm going to laugh.
I like your analysis there. However, I can say I do like Alex Cowboy Oliveira a good bit. I really like his style. I really do. I don't know why. I think part of it is his fight that he had with Donald Cowboy Cerrone, where he finished him with a liver kick. I really think that has a huge part to do with that. And so I know he's got the standing weapons to deal with Mike Perry, because, to be honest, Mike Perry, in my opinion, fucking looks like a fucking felon to me, for one. He spent a little too much time behind prison and couldn't find a job, so he's like, I'll take up fighting.
Platinum dog!
Yeah, he's the felon who just hasn't caught a felony yet. That's what I like to think. Anyhow, I can't take anything away from. I won't even call him aluminum. I'm gonna call him Mercury Mike Perry, because that dude can't fucking stand up to anybody. He's made it this far. You got into the UFC. Hurrah! There you go. There's your cheer from me. But you're in over your head here. I'm gonna go this route. I think Alex Oliveira is gonna shock the world here. He's not gonna finish him with a submission. He's gonna KO that motherfucker. I'm calling KO late second round.
See, I'm okay with that as well. I didn't think about it that way, but thinking about it now, I think realistically his striking is good enough. He can stand with Perry. He might, like I said, he might not have the chin that Perry does, but he can strike with Perry, and I think that would be an interesting finish to that fucking fight as well, to see Cowboy put him out.
I think my favorite thing about his striking, he does a lot of body work.
Yes, he does. He takes a lot of, I believe they refer to it as investing in the late fight by doing body work early on.
And that's why I say late second round-ish, right around that time, maybe early third, he'll KO him, because he'll have him worn the fuck out. And once you're gassed, your chin becomes a lot weaker. That's just how it fucking works.
Yeah, that's true.
Simple biology, guys. Simple body biology there. Once your blood starts rushing to other places in your body because it's so fucked up, whether it be your legs, your abdomen, whatever, there's not as much up here to keep you fucking going. And while he's working that body with that fucking liver kick, he's going to look down at that liver. Mike's going to take a hand down. He's going to come upstairs with that shit. You're just going to see, mercury flow through those eyes and out his ears as he hits the fucking canvas.
I mean, now the only thing Fuck you, Mike Perry. I don't like you. Now Oliveira, I'm not a huge fan of him. I really enjoy his fighting. The only thing I don't like about Oliveira is there's only one fucking cowboy in this sport, and that is fucking Donald Cerrone, sir. You need to take your fucking name and get the fuck out of here. Other than that, I love how you fight. I am actually with TJ on this. I want to see him with a fucking KO, TKO. Dude, Oliveira is rather well-rounded. He can fucking take you on the ground and make you look like a bitch, or he can fucking put some serious damage on you on a more you'll hurt next week, because he will fuck your body. He'll tear your legs apart. But in this case, he has a 5.5-inch reach. Dude, you're putting in some fucking damage against somebody that really is out of his, is not even in the same fucking league as you anymore. Mike, the only thing you got is hands, dude. That's all you really have. You have no fucking ground game. Somebody takes you to the ground, you're better off tapping the second you're back at the fucking mat. Like you don't have much to fucking compete here, man. I want to see Oliveira late in the first, early in the second KO TKO victory here.
See, I'm perfectly okay with it. I didn't even think about it going that way, but I'm perfectly okay with it going that way as well. So, that being said, that's going to bring us, sadly, for a change, to our co-main event of the evening. Now, this fight, I feel is best summed in 3 words. Four. Why? Fucking why? 1, there's no reason fucking ever this particular fight has to be the co-main event. There is absolutely no fucking reason this fight needs to be on the main card, and there is sure the fuck no reason at all this piece of shit even needs to be in the UFC. So if you haven't gathered it by now, what we're referring to here is Greg the piece of shit Hardy versus...
Take your ass to the Contender Series.
Right. Versus Dmitry Smolokov. Smoloikov? That. I get that for whatever fucking reason, Dana White seems to think that Greg Hardy could be an MMA star. And he wants to push him to try and get him to the platform that he feels that he would be able to shine the best on. That being said, Dana White also needs to remember that the reason that this business is prospering is because of the fans. And you don't get to tell the fans what they like. You can respond to what the fans like and adjust accordingly, but you can't tell the fans what they have to like. And what Dana White is doing right now actively, and has said so himself, he is trying to shove Greg Hardy down the public's throat so that he can make him into the star that he feels that he should be. And the public, by and large, overwhelmingly, resoundingly, repeatedly now, has come out in force on every social media platform available and said the same thing that I've been saying since this sack of shit showed up on the fucking Contender Series. Fuck you, Greg Hardy. We want nothing to fucking do with you. You got kicked out of the professional football game for being a fucking woman beater. You don't get to come over to the big boy league now and make your fucking money from violence. You fucked up and you lost your chance to play that fucking game. You're a piece of shit. That's a stain that will never be removed from your fucking person. You need to take your fucking self and your ignorant, non-fight having ass onto some other fucking industry. I speak for a good number of fans based on social media here in saying we don't fucking want Greg Hardy in the UFC. I don't give a fuck what Dana White thinks he is capable of. The fans don't fucking want him here. I think he's going to get his ass kicked by a nobody Saturday night, and I think the fans are going to fucking cheer as it happens. I think Hardy gets his ass kicked in the early second round, and I think the crowd's going to lose their fucking mind because of it, and I'll be right there with them.
Oh, I'm going to roll right with this one. One, why the fuck, Dana, Big Daddy Dana, I'm talking to you again. Do you put a known woman beater amongst the ranks of elite level fighters? Look, this nobody that he's fighting, y'all seen it here. There's the air quotes there. He's not a fucking nobody. Dimitri has earned his fucking way here. Greg, the Prince of War, as I like to call him, the Prince of Wife Beaters, because that's all he is, and he will forever be known as. To be honest, I hope he doesn't even make it to the fight. I hope on his way there, the car that he is riding in is T-boned so badly it kills him, and the driver who's driving there walks away unscathed. Because you know what? That dude does not deserve to be here. He has no right to be here. In fact, for things like that, they need to bring back stockades where people can stone the piss out of this motherfucker. You don't lay your hands on a woman, period. Dana White, if you're listening to this, all you're doing by allowing him to fight in this fantastic promotion that I love is you're saying we are okay with woman beaters. Are you saying you're okay with woman beaters? Do you enjoy knowing that you're okay with woman beaters and you want to push them to become a star? No. That's fucking wrong. Unfuck yourself. Remove this piece of shit from this fantastic promotion where you have plenty of others that have star power. People, push Dimitri down my throat. I'm perfectly all right with that. Greg Hardy, though? No. That's like giving me fucking herpes because you raped me. That's what I feel like right now. Not a fan. In fact, if I had it my way, I would put an end to that motherfucker myself. However, because stuff like that is illegal, and we cannot do that, I will not, because I'm not the kind of person that acts on stupidity, unlike this cocksucker here who beats women. I'm still mad that he was on the last fucking main event card. Get that motherfucker out of my face. Get him off of the goddamn roster. He belongs in the same place CM Punk is. Nowhere near the fucking UFC. Nothing against CM Punk because he's not a wife beater. Dimitri is going to fucking win this first round KO, and I'll be goddamned if I won't be there cheering for him that whole fucking time. If Greg Hardy somehow manages to pull this off, I'm going to pray to God that somebody hits him on the way out with a semi-truck, or he falls on some train tracks in front of a fucking moving locomotive and can't get up because he's broken his fucking spine. That useless pile of dog shit should just kill himself. Save somebody else the trouble or hassle of having to deal with the auto insurance that goes along with that. My apologies to anybody who might be the sorry son of a bitch who kills this piece of crap. My heart goes out to you for having to put that on your conscience, but the world will be a greater place.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say his name. The only thing I have to say about him is, Senior Dana, you need to make a buffer in between the Tuesday Night Contender Series, where people that are like have like real good fucking class or skill to become a UFC fighter, you need to have a buffer in between the Tuesday Night Contender Series and like a very small league, so where you have to put forth at least X amount of good fights, or at least decent fights, wins or losses, before you put them into the UFC. Because sorry, motherfuckers like this get thrown in that don't deserve a shot inside the UFC. Saying that people are calling Dimitri a nobody. Dude has a fucking Russian record in fucking medals, in fucking. He's pretty much the equivalent of fucking a United States wrestling fucking champion over there in Russia, because he is a fucking wrestling phenomenon. Dimitri, take him to the ground and break his fucking legs. Do one for the team. Fucking send him out, not on his shield, send him out looking like a goddamn pussy piece of shit that he is. Dimitri, win all day. Break his leg for me.
I have one other thing. When you do take him down, Dimitri, keep pounding his face. Even when the ref is trying to pull you off, stomp on that motherfucker. I will volunteer to pay your fines for that. In fact, if you stomp him well enough to where he never wakes up, I will help pay for your attorney fees.
I agree. It's so fucking infuriating that we even have to have that fucking discussion, but here we fucking are having to fucking talk about this piece of shit once again. So fuck him. We're going to move along. And that will bring us to the main event of the evening. We are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Ronaldo Jacare fucking Souza versus Jack the Joker Hermansson. Now, Hermansson just had a very, very explosive, very, very well-established victory very, very shortly ago. So he is going to do a quick turnaround to jump right in here because he got the chance to go against one Jacare Souza, who is on an absolute fucking rampage right now. That man uprooted his entire life and basically rebooted his entire fucking style, his entire career, and has got the fire back in his fucking belly like we saw in the prime, terrifying Jacare days. He is back, in my opinion. He is one of those that, like several others we've talked about, he's been around for a while, and he's definitely approaching that point where you're going to lose the chance to get back to that gold, but I think he's still in that narrow window where if he puts his fucking cards together right, he can still make a legitimate fucking run for gold. I don't know how long he'd be able to stay at the top the way this fucking divisions have been progressing lately, but goddamn if you can't ever count fucking Jacare out, because that dude is dangerous from everywhere at any point in the fucking fight. Now, I like Jack Hermansson. He is a fucking raging warrior for damn sure. He's got great fucking hands and he's got good movement. But I don't think he has the defensive abilities to keep Jacare from fucking taking over. I think he's not going to make it easy by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't think that Hermansson has what it takes here to stop the overall progress, the unending wave that is Jacare. Jacare can strike, he can grapple, and if he gets you to the ground, you're fucking in trouble. I don't care who you are. And Hermansson, while he can strike, while he can move, we just haven't seen him put up the defense that you have to be able to do to survive a fight with Jacare here. And like I said, I like Hermansson. I think the guy's got a bright fucking future in the UFC for damn sure. But I think this is going to come down to who gets off first and who gets off the most. And as we've seen in almost every Jacare fight for the last how many fucking years, if that dude gets a chance to stick you first, he is gonna. And what he does is he uses that first stick to let you know, I'm always here and I'm always ready to fucking jump. And anytime you think about something, I've already thought about it and I'm ready to go there, because he's playing that mental chess 3 steps ahead of everybody they put him in the fucking octagon with. And I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where even though Hermansson might feel like he's prepared, I don't think on a short turnaround like this, you can take an opponent like a Jacare and really give yourself the 100% chance you really need to beat a guy like Souza. And I think in this situation, we're going to see that. I don't think Hermansson's going to look bad. I just think that Souza is going to be too fucking much for him. And I think once that gator clamps on, I think it's good night, Gracie. I think Jacare takes this one, and I think it's going to be by submission. And I think it's going to be in the third.
This one for me was a tough fight to call, except for one thing. We all know what Souza can do. Jack Hermansson's looking fantastic. And here's this one thing. He did just make very light work of David Branch. However, David Branch to Jacare Souza, completely different fucking beast and animal. Your last fight was just last month in March. You had nowhere near enough time for a full fight camp to prepare for something that is the fucking mountain of Jacare to climb. Jack, I think you may have stepped into some waters that you weren't prepared for. I think you left your fucking chest waders at home and you're fucking chest deep in this shit. No offense to you at all. You're a fantastic fighter. You are going to do great things. In fact, I wouldn't doubt at some point seeing the strap wrapped around your waist. I could very well see that. You do have that kind of potential, and I've seen it already. The way you dispatch David Branch so effortlessly tells me you have it. David Branch is by no means a slouch either. He's a good fighter in his own right. He's not fantastic, but you made him look like a fucking schoolyard bitch boy. On the other side of this, though, dude, Jacare, we know. Jacare is already a legend of the sport, and he's at that kind of weird peak in the career where he can teeter either way. Yes, he did lose to Kelvin Gastelum, but on the other side of that, he did come back with a phenomenal victory thereafter and beat the ever-living shit out of him. I think Jacare's made that teeter towards the right side of the fence again, and I think he's going to make a run at Adesanya. And I say Adesanya because we all know who's going to win Adesanya's next fight. It's going to be Adesanya. Because all I have left to say is, fuck that dirty motherfucker to be. Fucking right in his ass. Man, not that Khabib really plays into this different weight class, but still, I just wanted to say that. But to be honest, I really think Adesanya is going to end up keeping that strap when they do unify the title there. Don't get me wrong. I love the old Aussie, or as they're calling him, the transplant, because he was born in New Zealand, whatever. I'm not going to get into that nonsensefulness, but this is going to be one where I think Jacare is going to end up taking this. I don't think it's going to go into the third, though. I think this is going to end up being a second-round finish. And the only reason it's not going to be a first round because I think there may be a small feeling out period, not very much of one, maybe a minute and a half into the first round, feeling out will be good for him. Then he'll go straight to work like he always does. He'll start talking right behind that jab. He's going to get him down to the ground, and because of that lack of turnaround time for Hermansson, I think that's what's really going to fuck him in this fight. I think if he had a full camp, it'd be a lot closer of a fight than what it's going to end up being. And it's purely on the turnaround time and that not having ample time to prepare for the mountain that is Jacare. I mean, unfortunately, it's for Hermansson, this is not the best way to go into a fight with somebody of this caliber. Don't get me wrong, you have every right to be in this fight, but you also fucked yourself by taking it on such a short turnaround that you don't get a full chance to actually go and prepare for him properly. Because, look, the middleweight division as a whole is stacked. I mean, look at the fight we just had with fucking Gastelum and Adesanya. That was a fantastic fight, even for the both of them. I'm glad it turned out the way it did, because we got to see two things. One, Adesanya can take a fucking punch. He can more it out for 5 rounds and still win. I the way Adesanya did, you know what? As much as I don't like Gastelum, I did have to fucking nod my head over to him after that, because that was a fucking war, and he hung in there. He had the heart. He had the heart there. I'll give him that. But I'm saying this division is stacked. Branson, going in here on short notice there, this is just a bad idea in this division. You can't go short notice on anybody in this division who's top 10 ranked. Period. It's less than 8 weeks. Bad idea. If you can't get in a full fight camp, it's fucking terrible idea. I mean, look at the rest of the division currently. I mean, it's to be honest, it's great. It's just crazy how it's stacked up, and it makes me wonder, how in the fuck do you think you can do this on this short of notice? Because I mean, look at the roster at middleweight top 10 right now. Is there anybody there that can possibly do anything at middleweight right now without getting a full fight camp ready for someone? Say, look, you've got all kinds of fucking people that are above you right now, and it's a scary thought to think that you didn't take a full fight camp for this. It just boggles my mind, because I don't know how you just go, yeah, I'm going to take this fight on a month's notice. You might end up fighting Kelvin Gastelum here shortly, and that's not going to be a slouch fight either. Obviously, he can fight, because we watched him go in there and bang with Adesanya for fucking 5 rounds. There was points in that fight where it looked like he might actually win. But, dude, I can say you definitely have fucking balls of stone, though, because you know what? I wouldn't do it on that short of fucking turnaround. There's no way in hell. I mean, yeah, just fucking the amount of craziness that is in this. I mean, the top 10 alone, it's just a fucking class of all murderers. All fucking murderers. It makes me wonder, at what point do you go, yeah, this was a great fucking idea. I don't know that there is a way to say, yeah, this was a fantastic idea for me to take this fight. Because at the top of the list here, you got Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. Dude, those are some major fucking mountains to climb there. Those two boys. That's going to be a fucking war when that fight happens. In fact, I can't wait to see that, because that's going to be fantastic. Dude, Hermansson, I tip my cap to you for taking it on short notice, but you're going to end up losing this fight. And I don't think it's going to go that long. I think it's going to be early, middle of the second round at the latest. And whether it's because you're KO'd, but more likelihood that you're going to get submitted. I don't even know what else to say to that, because I don't know how, it boggles my mind how I could take the fight on such short notice like this. Because look, I know you're a warrior. We get it. We watched you dispatch a branch with fucking ease. But that does not mean you're ready to go step in against Jacare on fucking basically 4 weeks notice. That's crazy. Dude, I want whatever the fuck you're smoking, because that's got to be some good shit. Hey, yeah, dude, I don't even think, I think you might want some of what he's smoking, and that's all I'm saying. Because to think that you can go in there on 4 weeks notice and do it is crazy. It's just pure fucking nuts. Jacare, all day, early second, middle of second at the latest.
Yeah, man. I only got one thing to say about Hermansson. Dude, fucking hats off to you on taking a fight this early, regardless of who it is, and then fucking throwing my hat across the fucking room for you for taking a fight against the goddamn murderer that is Jacare. That's all I gotta say about you. You are a great fighter. You have fucking great hands. You have a good chin. But man, you are not in the same league as fucking goddamn Jacare. Jacare is he's fucking good across the board, hands, feet. He's got fucking better ground game than most people. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be one of those feel him out, wear him down a little bit, tire him out, and then put him on the ground and get that tap. Because fucking, I think that's what it's going to come down to. I want to see early in the second submission. I want to see early in the second submission from Jacare. Jacare's got this. Fucking no ifs, ands, or buts. Any way you fucking put it, Jacare's getting a W. Point blank period.
All I can say is my hat's off to you. Short fucking notice. You're crazy, dude. You're fucking crazy. And I like it, but you're crazy.
Right? No, absolute hats off to Jack Hermansson, rather, because this fight early on, I don't know how many people have followed this particular fight very closely. This particular main event seemed doomed from the time it was announced, because this fight was originally Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. Then Paulo Costa had his USADA incident, which he's still denying, and USADA has already confirmed twice. Then it was originally Yoel Romero versus Jacare 2, which was fucking ecstatic. And then Yoel got hurt. And then at the last minute, on a fucking short notice of all fights, Hermansson steps up to tie this in. So we've got Hermansson versus Sosa. So abso-fucking-lutely, man. My hat is completely the fuck off to Hermansson for taking this fight. But like you guys have said, man, this is not the fight you want to take on short fucking notice. So we will definitely have to watch, because there is always that chance. But I think this is going to be a Gator situation here. So that's it. That's going to be all that we have got to talk about for the upcoming UFC Fort Lauderdale show. Did you guys know that Henry Cejudo is a gold medalist? I'm not sure if you guys are aware or not. Marlon Moraes reminded me that Henry Cejudo has an Olympic gold medal. So, and I guess he's going to bring it to the match at UFC 238. So we'll all get to see it.
That means as much as Kurt Angle having a fucking gold medal. Sir, get the fuck out of here. I got that with a broken neck. Fuck off.
I couldn't help it. I had to. It's been all over social media this week, because they're starting to put the promotions out for the Moraes versus Cejudo for the 135 belt. And oh my God, it's so fucking glorious. I love it so much. I get such a fucking kick out of the "did you know that Henry Cejudo is an Olympic gold medalist" fucking memes. They're everywhere, and it makes me so fucking happy. But that's all we've got for this evening. So we'll run it around the room real quick, let everybody know how they can keep this conversation going. So if the folks just haven't talked enough MMA shit, they haven't heard enough shenanigans, and they want to know how to move into the Ohio Valley fight game, how are they going to be able to get a hold of you, RJ?
Man, you get a hold of me at RJ__vapes on the old Instagrizzles. Hit me up over there. Fucking let's talk some shit. Dude, can we, I was gonna put this in the little group chat. Can we give some love for Alan tonight?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is actually one thing that I did want to mention that I completely fucking spaced at the beginning. So thank you again for reminding me. We do want to take a quick moment here as a show, as the I'm No Joe podcast here. We want to give a huge, huge congrats, and our thoughts are with our buddy Alan, who is usually our fourth panel member here. His baby daughter decided that she did not want to wait until they expected her to show up, and she showed up early. And, you know, good on you. The baby is healthy. The mama is healthy. Alan is fucking ecstatic. I cannot say, you know, congrats enough. We understand why you're not here. Love that little baby, man. She's fucking absolutely adorable. So absolutely shouts out to Alan, our brother here. Now, that being said, if for some reason somebody is dumb enough to think that the Bears are going to beat Green Bay this year, or they want to have some sort of an illegitimate MMA opinion and they just need somebody to sufficiently walk a mud hole dry in their ass, how can they get a hold of you, TJ?
You can catch me on Wednesday nights on the YouTubes. Right there is the name, Golf T Vapes, right on the YouTube channels. You can find it there, 9:30 Central Time. Also on the Instagram, you can email me at Gmail, same name there. So one last parting gift I would like to give to everyone. If you or anyone you know is thinking about or has been a wife beater, please make sure to dispatch said person with reckless abandon in any way, means, shape, or form. I don't care. Just make sure they're removed from the gene pool. People like that shouldn't be here. I'm talking to you, Big Daddy Dana, again. Hi, it's me, one more time. Please remove said unnamed cocksucker from the roster, so that way I don't ever have to think about said unnamed cocksucker again. Let him die in a fiery pit of misery. I would not piss on that man if he were on fire. Other than that, guys, feel free to hit me up. We'll talk some shit some more. I would love to. It'd be fantastic. It's a fantastic show. And one more time, fuck that guy.
I agree. And thank you again, both of you, for your time. I do appreciate both of you taking the time out of your lives to be here with me and to talk some shit. I always appreciate the opinions that both of you bring here. So we're going to wrap that up. We're going to call that all for this evening. So if you got a giggle out of any of the shit talking that we've done over the last little spiel here, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up. If you managed to make it all the way through and we haven't pissed you off enough to turn this fucking video off, consider giving us a subscribe. If we made you blow milk out your nose because of some of the dumb shit that we shenaniganed across the fucking episode here, give us a share. Tell your friends. See if we can get this show a little bit bigger. That's what we're here for, is to get this thing growing. Now, on the other hand, if you've spent the last hour and change screaming at your fucking computer because these dumbasses don't know what the fuck they're talking about, give us a thumbs down. We earned it, and I won't dispute that in the least bit. But regardless of how you feel, that's all we have for tonight. So we're going to call it all. Remember, till next time, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Have a great night.
Unless it's that cocksucker. Don't root for that cocksucker.
Yeah, fuck that.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they fought with expert timing. There were funky Chinamen from funky Chinatown. They were chopping them up, they were chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. From a fainting to a slip, and a kicking from the hip, everybody was